.3 FM, W297CL, Levittown.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Yardley, Pennsylvania.
I'm in the landscaping business. I have the need for seed. But that's another show for another time.
Yeah, that was my last Sunday and Sunday and Monday.
Doing that yesterday. Hey, it's straight up 9 o'clock Thursdays right here. We go from the Radio Ranch to the pits, and it's
pits.
Yep, and we throw in the car stuff here, but when we get guests and information, we move right in.
Talk about anything with cars. You know, if you got a question about your auto repair, give me a call on this too. But
yep.
We're going to call this a Need for Speed 60 lapper.
Yes, right. Special edition.
But because Craig and I went up to Maple Grove Saturday, and we just had a blast. A blast from the time we got there. You know, we got there just around 3 o'clock. We left somewhere around 8. We didn't stay for the full thing. But what a time we had for those 5 hours.
Didn't you miss the sounds, Fred? Maybe it's...
I got reminded real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the drag racing sounds in the cars, but then I forgot how loud the alcohol and the rails are, the long...
That and the anticipation of something ready to... ready to be unleashed.
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was trying to videotape as they're staging up, and then my phone only lets me record. Well, it'll let me record, but trying to switch it to Facebook only gives me 15 seconds.
Whoa,
so Craig did it on his, and we sent it to an email, and then I'm posting them up that way. So there's a ways around it.
Quick on the draw.
But I'm sitting there watching them stage, and I couldn't get the whole race in because it was I only get 15 seconds. But it was just a blast. I was sitting there, waiting for the rails to stage, and they let them rip, and I was like, "Oh my God!" It actually hurt my ears. I was like, it looks like I was videotaping a lady in front of me, but I wasn't. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I had to put my phone down to cover my ears. But we really did.
I know a lawyer. Okay. All right.
So, but it was just a lot of fun seeing a lot of the old cars running too. I mean, I was very impressed. But
also
they had 500 and some cars up there. I heard.
Yeah. But
it seemed like it.
I noticed the attendance.
Yeah.
Sometimes you say, "Well, what happened?" Somebody, bad weather could do that to anything, or maybe perceived bad weather. But I didn't see too many empty seats there, or it was a lot of people milling around.
Yeah, there was a lot of people moving around. So if you didn't see them in the seats, they were walking around getting food or checking out the cars, because it's pretty much wide open down there. I mean, you can do whatever you want, pretty much.
Well, we're stoked for the hour of power, and it's brought to you by Sage Chiropractic at 123 Sycamore Streets in Newtown. 215-297-0700. That's right, putting your range in motion. That's the name of the game. That's right, offering care as unique as the patients, real solutions in a safe, affordable environment. If you're tired of masking your problems, well, they can focus on that and get your body back working smarter again. Maybe too late for some of us, but
maybe not.
Maybe not. That's right. So, absolutely.
Yeah, Mike always says a lot of people mask them with medications and stuff when they really just need a nice, comprehensive chiropractic. And,
that's
it works. It works. Yeah. But back to the race. We really did. There was a lot of people running around there. It wasn't, like I said, if you didn't see them in the stands, you still need more people to come out. That's one reason why we're here.
Right, okay.
And but it was it was an all weekend thing, so people came in for different things. I was there mainly for the the old cars and just drag cars.
Yeah.
And hopefully Nick was there all day. Nick Leach, hopefully he can break free and give us a call, because he was actually doing a Facebook Live, and then he was all over the place. So I didn't really get to run into him like we wanted to.
He was working.
Yeah, he was working. He was working the gates. He's working this, and he was doing Facebook Live. And if I got there earlier, we probably would have done some reports on Facebook Live. But Craig and I didn't get up there.
Do you remember your first race you ever went to, or
My dad used to take me down drag racing. Once, what I remember, there used to be an abandoned runway down on McGuire. It was right alongside Texas Avenue, and we used to run down there. I think it was nothing official. But it was a lot of fun. And then Englishtown. I remember going to Englishtown. I don't remember Atco so much.
Atco.
I think I went on later with
Action. Big Daddy Don Garlett's
Action Raceway.
That's right.
But
Raceway Park. There was another one too.
Yeah.
Over in Jersey.
But Englishtown was a big one for a long time.
Funny cars.
Yep.
Remember back in the days, right?
Yeah, they had a few funny cars up there. They were ripping the rails, man. They were running like 5 seconds, 5.3.
Big Daddy Don Garlett's back in the day.
Yeah. Those were the cars. That's what was running.
Yeah.
And they were hanging about 5.3, 5.4 to like 270 miles an hour.
Yeah.
In a quarter mile, that's amazing. And it's not too much for me. It's too much for me.
Sounds good and because a lot of time the Spanish channel used to do the same commercials, and they would do the racing, and the guy goes, "Action caliente," it was hot. So it was kind of like, I don't know, but it had an international flavor to it. Yeah.
And everybody loves drag racing.
Sure.
It's an international thing.
It is. It's internet. I think it's international. When I saw
except in Russia, because those cars are crap.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
There are 2 Ladas running down the road.
That's right.
The reason I could pick on them, I rode it.
Well, the winner's predetermined, though.
Yeah. There's never any dry track in Russia.
Not at all. But anyway, it is international, of course, with the Grand Prix for Le Mans.
This was one weekend of racing. This is the big weekend of racing for for NASCAR, for
Monaco,
Indy cars, for everything. I mean, Maple Grove, and almost to the point where I couldn't do enough. So if a lot of people feel that way, you're only going to latch on to one and stick to it. But
one of the things I saw was is the business of racing, Fred. Maybe you would know something about that, where somebody is driving for the Smith Jones team or something,
right.
And Tony Stewart and somehow they're going out of business. But I was going to ask you. I said, do they have guns for hire? Is basically it, or to back them, or what? How does that work?
You mean for businesses?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on your sponsorships.
Yeah.
It costs a lot, from what I understand, to run something like Tony Stewart's, Stewart Haas. I mean, Haas has been around since running Indy cars back in the 60s.
Yeah.
Tony's Tony.
Big
star. He's like the big king.
Yeah.
So, but also with Tony, he's been switching over more to NHRA with the drag racing and stuff like that. So I don't know if his focus was there anymore. Some of the NASCAR rules and stuff are making it tough for the old school owners and to do it. I was just reading this morning, when I was reading about Stewart Haas going out, was Rick Hendrick, who's like one of the biggest race owners, hasn't made any money in 10 years.
Wow.
And that's crazy. His cars are being sponsored by Rick Hendrick.
Yeah.
It used to be whatever.
I was going to ask you that, because I saw that and I said, well, Tony Stewart, I know that. You know the name, and every once in a while, rub people the wrong way. I guess when you win, they don't like you.
Well, he's another one that was. It's a straightforward guy, and if he thinks you've done you wrong, he's going to tell you. So, I mean, it's really nothing wrong with that. Depends how far you want to push it.
Yeah,
not like in
it's sort of
Ricky
like
Stenhouse took a clock at Kyle Busch.
That's right. They did do that. Yeah. Well, what would be without some real passion? This is not the. MMA, WWF, because it's real. You're somebody's living, or someone's paycheck just got ripped off.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on how that all happened, but because Ricky sat there for 2 hours and stewing it up a little bit. So he should have been calming down by then. But hey, Kyle Busch rubs you the wrong way too. I'm not a big Busch fan.
Yeah.
And he usually blames everybody else for his problems. But
he's like an Aaron Rodgers kind of type.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Kind of like it's just,
but he's a good driver.
Shut up. Yeah, but he's great. Yeah.
I'd give him that. But back in the old days, I mean, fighting.
Yeah,
I remember the big one was when I was little. Was the Cale Yarborough. Bobby Allison
throwing the helmet at the windshield. Was that the one?
Yeah. And they had a fist fight in the infield.
Yeah.
But it was a good.
That's right. That was That was pretty good. But it wasn't WWE. That's a real thing, right?
No, that's what kind of felt like with the Stenhouse Bush thing. It was like, I know he could have calmed down. It didn't really need to happen that way.
Well, it also highlights the fact, Fred, that it is business, and winning is business, and losing is not good for business.
Yeah, I think that one race was $1 million purse.
Yeah, I mean, you're
talking out of that.
You're right. I mean,
especially if you're running good.
Yeah.
You know.
Is that, of course, like anything else, that has to be way up from where it used to be. You're really taking your life in your hands for 25,000, but hopefully you can get active on just number of races, right?
So I mean, that's what the purses aren't. I wouldn't say great as compared with the cost of running a thing.
Right.
You have to be a top runner to make any kind of money in it. Yeah. And it's like that with every level of racing. Yeah. But it really comes down to your sponsors and how you run your things.
It's,
sponsors can really make or break you.
Yeah. So. I'll tell you what, and it's at the same time you're dealing with there's a very dangerous element, and maybe that makes it more maybe attractive to not necessarily wrecks and everything else, but there's been a lot of tragedy and stuff like that.
It's an adrenaline thing. I mean, I got it when I ran, by myself.
So when you were back, what was it like? It was like get back in the saddle again there, or just oh wow.
I never really ran all the time, but I used to just play around with the cars and stuff like that. And but getting behind the wheel was like, wow, this is cool. I was actually shaking for like hours after I got out. I was so pumped up, even though I can't imagine doing it every week with 30 other guys out there, because
They keep you cool, like John Milner, right? Hey, come on, Toad.
It was a very, very big rush going through that. I envy those guys that are out there doing it in close quarters and heading into the turns and rubbing wheels and stuff. But it was a.
For some people it would be like coming out of the tunnel at Notre Dame, something like that. Just get, whoa, 80,000 people in unison sometimes, right?
Yeah, and the good thing for fans, I mean, you can appreciate that even whether you run or not. But having the stands in there, you find somebody that maybe personality-wise that you like. Oh, I like this guy, or I like the color of his car. It's like, or I like the way he runs, and. There's, so you latch onto that, and it becomes almost like a WWE. You have your favorites. Like I used to like Hulk Hogan or whatever. Not that I was a big wrestler fan, but you do latch onto your favorite driver for whatever reason, and it becomes you get like a vested interest in it, and it's a feeling like when you see like Billy Patch Jr. or Ryan Godown, somebody that you really like. Winning or just running hard, and I've seen both of those guys come from like 15th to first in like laps, and it's like, wow, I love the way they drive. It's really aggressive and clean still, And now I've been following Paul Mancini, who's a very young guy and a very good runner.
Spotsini all along. I knew it.
So. So he I've been latching onto him and really following stuff on him, and whether I'm watching it on TV or reading about it in the news here. Yeah,
and also when you see Michael Jordan at a race, that's news.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the celebrity or other athletes kind of get into that kind of stuff. It's that thrill.
Yeah,
Michael Jordan thought it was great.
Yeah, he's got plenty of money, so but still, it's a business. If you're not going to make money, why do it? I mean, it's a business.
Yeah, and if you got somebody like Michael Jordan, the rest of them sniffing around looking for business, the rising tide raises all boats kind of thing.
That might attract other owners or more sponsors.
What does he know that I don't?
He's Michael Jordan. He's got his.
He's ways. Michael Jordan is what he is, right? But he's not dumb. No, I mean, that's for sure.
No, he worked hard too. I have to give it to him, whether you like him or not. I mean, he worked hard, and Joe Gibbs too. I mean, he walked away from football and.
Yeah, that's right. Joe Gibbs.
After winning Super Bowls.
Yeah. And where do you go from there?
Yeah, got into racing and been very successful. One of the most successful teams out there.
Yeah.
So, but and they got good sponsors. Michael Jordan, I think Bubba Wallace has McDonald's on his car most of the time.
Can't lose on that.
That's
right?
a big one. That's a Big Mac. But
Fred Mac Fletcher, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody needs to know his real name.
I'm trying to think of Ty Gibbs. Last week ran the Interstate Batteries car, which is Norm Johnson owns Interstate Batteries. So It's got very deep pockets, and Interstate Batteries is a quality product, and it shows.
Right, so during the hour, what are we expecting today?
Well, I'm hoping to get some calls in from our usual suspects.
215-949-3232. Get you on. And
couple of guests.
Get you in the fast lane.
Put you in the fast lane.
Life in the fast lane. There you go.
Slide sideways into turn one.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, there's and we'll talk about what's going on in this weekend. And
okay.
Because there's another big full slate of racing, not maybe as extensive as last week, but anybody has any questions about cars, racing?
This is primo time because Memorial Weekend was always the race and the Indy 500.
Indy 500. Yeah, they got delayed for a while. They messed up Kyle Larson trying to run both tracks. But he ended up 18th, I think I've read.
Yeah, top 20.
Yeah, that's
money.
For no slouch. That's no slouch for a guy that's usually a NASCAR or dirt track guy. But that's just proof positive. And I think he qualified real high.
I think if I was in the race car business, I would see if I could have recruited Peyton Manning in there somehow. But don't you think? I mean, Indianapolis
driving. I don't know if he fit in a car.
Yeah, I don't know. Indy. I mean, back in.
Kyle Larson will fit in anything. He's a little short guy like me.
Yeah,
but a lot thinner. Then that messed him up for the Coca-Cola 600.
Yeah,
he couldn't get there till later. Justin Allgaier filled in for him and did a yeoman's job there.
Yeah, Coca-Cola behind you. That's another one.
Yeah. Coca-Cola sponsored the whole race. That's an every year thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody. I don't know if Coke sponsors a car. I mean, they rotate sponsors a lot. So you'll see, like my guy Martin Truex. He has Bass Pro Shops on his car, on pretty much.
That's right.
And out,
there you go.
Yeah.
Now it's all coming. You see it, but it doesn't really register.
Yeah. So I'm a Bass Pro Shop fan too.
Yeah, that's right. Keeping it real.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do here. Yeah.
There was a lot of racing. I was reading some stuff in the Ariota Racing News here. What was going on? I mean, this is all over. More races than I'll ever see. But like Wall Stadium had a nice, and hopefully Earl can call in again and tell us how successful that weekend was. It sounded like it was pretty lively down there. Maybe you can shed some light on that. New Egypt had a good run. Mark Yapple sent me some of the results, which I failed to print out, so I'm prepared with that for what happened last week. But I am going down this week. Craig and I are going down, and we will do some videotapes, maybe some interviews in the pits with some of the drivers, and make a day of that.
Yeah.
So.
I can remember the Goodies headache powder 200 or 300 back.
I think they still do that.
Back in, and
I think it was at Martinsville.
Yeah, I said, who the heck is
or Bristol? It was Bristol, because that's a headache. That's a headache track.
Who's running that? Ted Turner.
Yeah.
Guy who put it on TV, and they go, "What are you doing?" Well, when the ratings come in, let me know. Right, and there's got to be a huge audience for you.
Yeah.
For them, so.
NASCAR's a big thing. Fox spends a lot of money buying.
They do, and they got they had the two channels going at the same time, and people know what you got to know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's they get some of the old drivers to do the commentating. Benny.
Well, Benny Parsons.
Yeah, right.
But you get Darrell Waltrip still out there, but most of Kevin Harvick is the big one out there. Clint Boyer. Guys that ran in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's good. All right, let's rock.
I don't know if it made it all the way through.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's rock then. You're on with Fred. Go ahead.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. What's happening?
What's going on, Fred? How are you?
I'm doing good.
Life in the fast lane with Fred today.
Absolutely. I finally got to meet Fred Saturday at Maple Grove. not the way I wanted to, but at least I got to say hi to him.
Yeah. I wanted to sit and chat with you for a while, but you were all over the place. You were every time I saw you riding around the golf cart from one place to the other. But we'll catch up.
Well, when Kyle's your boss, he's got a million things going on, so he's like, go over here and do this, go over here and do that. So they just supply me with a golf cart, and I do what I do. But I got a chance to look at some really neat race cars and brought back a lot of my childhood, seeing some of them stalkers out there. And it's a pretty neat show. It was a really, really good show. Yeah,
it was, like I said, we were only there for 5 hours of the whole weekend, but to me it was a very action-packed 5 hours that Craig and I had, taking videos and watching the race. Was it true there was like 500 and some cars down there?
Yeah, there was a lot of cars. I don't know the exact count. I'd have to talk to Kyle today. I haven't seen them. They're getting ready for the big light show they have down there this weekend. A lot of people come. And they have the Japanese light show or whatever it's called. And people come there and camp out. Saturday night, they let all the lights off into the sky. It's a pretty neat event. You have to check the schedule for that. But, there was a lot of cars. A lot of people. The only thing with drag racing is, in circle track racing, people go sit in the grandstands. In drag racing, they're all in the pit area, and if they all sat in the grandstands, you wouldn't be able to breathe. So it kind of looks like there's not that many people in the grandstands because they're all in the pit area. So if you had 500 cars and there's 5 people with every car, you wouldn't have enough stands to put them in. So it's very deceiving, but there was a lot of people that went through the gates and had a lot of fun. And then, of course, we got rain near the end, and that kind of messed things up a little bit to move it to Sunday. And but we still had fireworks on Saturday, so that was Kyle's big deal. He wanted to get the fireworks in, so we got the fireworks in, and we had a good time. It was a lot of fun, and it's all worth it, because it's a neat deal down there.
Yeah. I mean, it was like totally action-packed. We walked through the pits. We didn't see all the cars because it was just so immense, the amount of cars in the area that it took up. But walking around and behind the stands and over the concessions and all, there was people everywhere. So, my wife said there's not a whole lot of people in the stands. I said they were all walking around. they were all just checking things out.
You can't imagine how big it is, because if you go in the pit area where the asphalt is and where the concession stands are, that's one area. Then you go across the street where there's grass, and that's all packed with trailers and cars. It's like 2 separate pit areas, so they can hold a lot of people there and a lot of cars for the national event when NHRA comes, and that was an NHRA event too. I mean, it's standing room only. They sold out each year that the Koretsky's have had it, so it's been pretty popular with them owning the racetrack.
Yeah.
And it's all about the fans and family, as you've seen there Saturday. It was a great event.
Yeah, I miss the days when we used to, go to the tracks and get up there on a Thursday night and stay in Dad's motorhome or in our camper and stay there all weekend and just have a time of our lives. And I've seen a lot of that going on up at Maple Grove, and that's what it's all about. A lot of families up there having cookouts, working on their cars, having cookouts, just hanging, just having a good time. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, New Egypt had a good weekend. I mean, I talked to Joey, and he said they may have put a little too much water on the racetrack last week and had a couple religious spots in it, but the racing was good. The racing has been good.
Right.
Corey Fleming won the street stock race, and then David Malozar got his first win. Two people that I'm very fond of. I know them personally. It was a shame that I didn't get a chance to be there to interview them guys, but we're working on that. We'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I got some big plans to do down New Egypt, and hopefully it includes you with that too, because I've been thinking about something for a couple of months now, and if we can pull it all together, it's going to be great. So.
Well, I know there's going to be a big race coming up in July in remembrance of John Schmedlin, who owned the 747 car.
Right.
That had a lot of guys behind the wheel of that car: Jimmy Horton, Frank Cozy, Ryan Godown, Davey Sam. You can name a ton of them that drove that car and took it to victory lane. And they're going to have a race in memory of him. And it's going to be the Garden State Gunfight race, I believe, on a Tuesday night. So mark that down on your calendar.
Yeah.
You definitely want to go to that race.
Yeah, I think I'll take off early from work that day and head on down for that. So, Mark Gapel sent me a thing. He said a little dusty. He said they put more water down, and I guess they put down a little too much. But he said it was still good racing down there.
Yeah, I mean, you're hit or miss with all the rain we've been getting. You don't know, should you put a lot, should you put, I mean, they're doing the best they can. It's early in the season. A lot of tracks are having that problem.
Yep.
Then, of course, Bridgeport with the movie opening for Pony and them having all that stuff going on, and then they try to get it in and it rains. And Mother Nature's got to cut us a break.
I'm telling you. Yeah, I sat down there in the mud pit last weekend. So we're waiting for something to happen, but also, what do you got going on up there in Maple Grove this weekend? Looks like on June 2nd, Sunday. It's a June Bug Volkswagen
June Bug. That's a big event. You'd be surprised if there's that many Volkswagens around, but there's tons of them. And that's one of their big events, too. And that'll be there. And they have the lights thing on Saturday and Sunday, plus the June Bug event. And, it's a big event. And we'll see what happens. I mean, they got tons of things going on. Make sure you mark down when the NHRA comes. You get a chance to meet and greet with all them drivers. It ain't like NASCAR. You get a chance to meet, like Kyle said, you get a chance to meet all the NHRA stars up close and personal. I mean, Kyle Larson done an excellent job over the weekend.
Right.
I mean, you cannot sit here and say that he is not one of the best race car drivers in the world right now.
Oh, yeah. He's one of my favorites. Yeah. He can hop into anything.
He can ride a go-kart anywhere. He could drive a shopping cart at Walmart and get it to the front. He's phenomenal. And the best part about him isn't his racing. It's his personality.
Yes.
He'll take the time to talk to you. He'll take the time to sign autographs. He was at Grandview. He stayed there 2 hours after the races were over signing autographs.
Yep.
So
quality
that's
guy.
The kind of guy. That's the kind of guy you want to represent your sport. And you got people out there saying, "Oh, well, he shouldn't be running the high limit series because him and his brother-in-law own it." I got news for you. If he didn't show up for the high limit series races, nobody would show up to watch. So, you know what I mean? I mean, come on.
Yep.
I mean, let's be realistic here. You know, all NASCAR went out of their way to give him a break so he could make it back from Indy to run Charlotte. Okay. Well, so what? I mean, he's selling tickets, and that's what it's about.
It's a business. It's a business.
I wish they did it.
Yeah.
They didn't have the guts to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we're going to start getting guys to stand out in front of Fletcher's garage so we get more business for Fred. We'll get some race cars out there and have
we'll get Kyle. Yeah, get some drivers over there to hang out with us over here.
Exactly.
That would be great.
Come to Fletcher's garage. Come to Fletcher's garage, get an autograph, get a discount on an oil change, man. We'll have a car show over at Fred.
Oh, there we go. Now you got my wheels turning again, Nick. So
there we go.
We'll put it together.
Yep, we'll put it together. I'll be the MC. I'll run my mouth, run everybody off the lot, and we'll get their money first.
Okay. We'll get the money first.
I had
then
more of an idea of the Tesla 200. Which one would crap out first? Or the EV 200.
They'd all die at the same time.
Or the EV 100. Something like that.
Yeah, nothing there. No, that's not even. I said the first time I don't hear a car going around the track is the last time I see a car going around the track.
Right.
Well, we'd have to pay Fred to participate in that because he's not an EV guy. We already know that.
We know that.
We know that. Yeah, that's for sure.
He has an electric personality. That's the only thing he's got.
Yeah, I ran into somebody down there. I was getting my Maple Grove swag down there in the souvenir thing, and I bought a shirt. And she saw my shirt. She's like, "Oh, you're a Fletcher's crotch." She goes, "I ride past her all the time." so I said, "Well, stop in. I'll give you a shirt."
Yeah. That's right.
That was my buddy Mike, who's the foreman here at Superior Materials. That was his wife.
Okay.
Trish. She runs the novelty stand at Maple Grove, and they're local. They live right on Old Fords Boulevard down the other end. So
yeah, that's what she said. She lived down the street.
Yep. So
all right.
And Mike listens to the show. He's probably listening now. So, but you guys do what you do. Jim, stay out of trouble.
All righty.
I'm in the fast lane with Fred. That's where I belong.
I got him buckled in. Don't worry about it.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Hey, Jim, it's nothing personal. It's business.
That's right.
There you go.
That's my man. He knows. All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Nick. We'll
Thank
be
you,
talking
Nick.
soon.
All right, see.
All right.
All right. We are getting warmed up here.
Yeah.
All right. You're up with Fred. Go ahead.
Hey, Fred.
Yeah.
Hello, Kraus. Good morning, Fred and Jim.
Hey.
Nice show so far.
Oh, thank
we're,
you.
we're in the fast lane here.
Oh, I tell you,
Why
man.
am I always out of breath after I do this hour? I don't know.
Right.
I'm not in shape like I
It's
used to.
just that excitement.
Yeah.
You got to work out before you do the
I
show.
know it.
Get on the
Hey,
treadmill.
it was good hearing Nitro Nick Leach.
Oh, yeah.
Always enjoyed Nick.
That is a perfect name for him.
Yeah,
My
Nitro
God.
Nick. He's great, and and good. You had a good time there at Maple Grove. That's
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I heard you had some good stuff going on down at the wall this weekend.
Yeah, it was an exciting night. Yeah, I heard you mentioning before about the attendance and so forth at the tracks, and this is actually our third race of the year because of the weather. Last time we had a race was April 27th,
Right.
and then we had 2 weeks of rainouts, and we were scheduled off Mother's Day weekend. So first one back, and excellent crowd. The first Memorial Day, of course. We honor those who gave their lives. For our country, through the military. It's also the start of the summer recreation season, and Wall Stadium traditionally on a Memorial Day weekend, it's a great way to start, and we did have an excellent crowd, but very exciting racing, a lot of on-track action.
Yeah.
Eddie McCarthy took the win. We call him Fast Eddie. He won on his dad's birthday.
Nice.
And his dad used to race at Wall Stadium. Matter of fact, won a street stock feature maybe 10 or 12 years ago. Very good racing family. And so Eddie McCarthy won the modified main event. And during the event, Jimmy Blewett, you no doubt heard about.
Yeah.
Very fiery driver. They call him Showtime.
Oh, yeah.
And again, a great racing family, going back to his grandfather, his dad, his late brother, John Blewett III. Jimmy is an all-out racer.
Hey.
And he's the second leading driver in wins all time at Wall Stadium behind Gil Hearn. And during the modified main, Eddie McCarthy was leading. This was just after halfway in our 40-lap feature. And as they went into the first turn, Jimmy was running second behind Eddie, and Kyle Sisko was in third place. And Kyle Sisko, another one, he's a member of a longtime racing family at Wall Stadium. Started by his grandfather, then his dad. They went in the first turn, and Jimmy Blewett made an inside move on Eddie McCarthy. And Jimmy is one of his many talents. He has a signature move in turns 1 and turns 3, where he'll take the car as low as he can on the high banks and to make a pass. And 9 times out of 10 it works.
Right.
Saturday night he made the bid for the lead. And both he and Eddie McCarthy, as they did it, they kind of washed up the track, and Kyle Sisko passed both of them. And they made another lap or two with Sisko in the lead, and Jimmy Blewett was right behind Kyle Sisko as they came off of turn 4, and they made contact, and Sisko went spinning down into the infield, and they went yellow, and the officials put Jimmy Blewett to the rear for taking out the leader.
Yeah.
But as they were running under the pace lap, Kyle Sisko came back, because he was going to the rear as well. He came back up on the track to the front of the field, kind of like, I don't know, to maybe just say something to Jimmy, that kind of thing. And as Jimmy Blewett was running behind him again under the pace lap, he made contact with Kyle Sisko and put him into the guardrail. And the officials, said, "That's it, you're done, Jimmy." In the pits, disqualified for the night. So that was one incident.
Wow.
And actually the impact was enough to put Kyle Sisko's car out for the night with damage. So then, as the feature continued, Eddie McCarthy stayed in lead through all this, and he went on and won. And the battle was for fifth between Blake Barney, who drives for his grandfather Dick Barney, and his dad Robert. Again, that's that famous Red 14.
Right.
Jared D. Giant Tommaso, and Stephen Reed, who's a 3-time champion. And Jared D. Giant Tommaso, his brother, won the opening night feature. And both he and his brother, former sportsman champions, moved up into the modifieds. So as the final 10 laps or so of the feature, Barney, Giant Tommaso and Reed were all racing for fifth, very, very close. And again, you've been to Wall Stadium. It's a very tight track.
Narrow, almost a one-laner.
It can be. And, we call him Jared D. Jared D. Giant Tommaso. They call him Jared D. He was racing Stephen Reed very close. Like take him low in the corners, and they were running close, bumper to bumper, little contact here and there. So the race ended with Blake Barney finishing fifth, and Jared D. Giant Tommaso and Stephen Reed in that order. They came under the checkered flag when they went into turn 1 and 2 after the race. Stephen Reed, I guess, figured, okay, I had enough, and he took his car to the inside and put Jared D. Giant Tommaso into the guardrail.
Oh, man.
With extensive damage to D. Giant Tommaso's car. So the officials, this is after the race, they disqualified Stephen Reed for the night. So.
Well, I thought your demolition derby was this weekend.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It was intense.
You never know.
Yeah, I read some of the stuff, and then I was on the Facebook, and then there was like, wow, there was some really nasty stuff going back and forth there. I was like, wow, I missed a hell of a time up at Wall.
But Saturday night at the shore,
Yeah.
The fans get into it. We've said before, Wall has a very, very enthusiastic fan base.
Yes.
And a very loyal fan base. And there's 3 and sometimes 4 generations of fans that are there.
Yeah, there's always been a Blewett running as far as I've known.
Yes, yep. And Jimmy lives up to his nickname. And
Showtime.
He is so passionate. It's all about winning with Jimmy, not second place.
Yep.
And he's dedicated to racing and winning. It's
so I said, everybody's got their own personalities with there, and the fans go to that, migrate to whoever that is. Yeah.
Right.
And conversely, he's the first person to help somebody. If their car is wrecked, he'll say, "Bring it over to my shop. We'll fix it." So that's how Jimmy is.
Yep.
But that was our Saturday night, and this coming weekend, the modifieds are scheduled off. It's kind of like a family fun night, as you mentioned. First demolition derby of the year. That's always a lot of fun. The ATQ MRA wing TQ midgets are back.
They're always a lot of fun.
Sportsman division, which is always very competitive. They'll be in the spotlight as the main open wheel division with the TQs. And our factory stocks will be there, of course, our Fast 4s, limited late models as well. So very good racing night of action.
Coming up. Yeah, so everybody check that out, too. Head down the Wall. I mean, I haven't been to a demolition derby in, I don't know, Flemington, probably 40 years.
You're right.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, that was a hotbed.
And that was a lot of fun. I've seen them on the Mav TV or something.
Yeah.
But, so what do you do this every year, Earl, with the demolition derby, or is it just a...
Yeah, there's several during the season.
Okay.
And let's see, this will be the first of, this would probably be just looking here at my own schedule, probably have like 3 during the year, including during Turkey Derby weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
One of the things with demolition derbies is interesting. Like you recall, because I remember seeing them myself, the demolition derbies at Flemington, especially during the fair. There would be literally like 100 cars.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the demolition derbies now, and of course you're in the automotive industry, you don't see as many demolition derby competitors as there used to be.
No.
I don't know if there's a shortage of cars in the junkyards, or people just don't really know or care how to take a junk car. And
nobody wants to see a bunch of Kias running each other. You can see that on 295.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
But back in the day, I remember the old Lincolns and
maybe it's an attitude. Maybe an attitude thing.
One guy I remember for sure. He had a '57 Oldsmobile.
Oh.
It was called Captain Blood. It was a yellow car, and it was spray painted on the side. It looked like blood running down. It was awesome. He was my favorite.
Yeah. Yep.
But you see the old big Lincolns and Cadillacs and big station wagons and stuff like that. But they were always a lot of fun.
The boats.
Yeah. But I don't know if maybe front wheel drive cars just don't cut it anymore.
We know at Wall now for the Demolition Derby, and again, there's not as many as there used to be, but it's actually split up into, excuse me, 8-cylinder and 4-cylinder demos. And there are, it's really funny to watch a 4-cylinder car demolition derby. These little front-wheel drive cars darting around like June bugs, right in the water. And you see a couple of them where the entire back of the car is literally gone from crashing, and they've got the front wheel power, so they're just running around, and it's really funny to watch. And these little 4-cylinder cars doing the demolition derby, it's quite entertaining. Yeah. But it's a good little show.
Ah, good. Yeah. So everybody head down the Wall and check that out as well. And I'll be down there for one of these demolition derbies and more. So I promise, Earl, I will be getting there. I'm just all over the place right now.
That's good. Well, I tell you, keep up the great work with the show. It's nice to see the hour-long show this morning.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're playing around with different things. I'm trying to make this the most effective and get everybody some information about all the tracks around here, including Wall.
Well, that's it. We'll all have to work together because it's so important. As I mentioned, last Saturday night at Wall was a big crowd, enthusiastic, and understand New Egypt and Bridgeport did extremely well too. And,
right.
You mentioned Maple Grove, which is interesting the way the fan base is at drag racing where everybody's milling around the pit area.
Yeah.
But it's good to see that many people out enjoying our favorite sport, and we've got to keep working at it. Get these new fans there, the newer, younger crowd to say, hey, this is a great thing to do on a Saturday night.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get my grandson into it, and he's 11, so I'm gonna grab a couple of his friends and get down there. Maybe it starts to stick with them as well as it did with us when we were kids.
A lot of it is if you bring somebody to the track, which I know you've done, to explain it to them when they're there at the track, like what these different divisions are.
Right.
And I know as an announcer at Wall Stadium, I do that. You explain what a legend car is that has a full race motorcycle engine, the same with the TQ midgets, and a factory stock is your basic American. We call them American steel,
right.
your classic car from the 1980s. And, basically what a modified or sportsman is, what the difference is with the tires and the motors. Kind of, without over-explaining it,
right.
Let the fans know that a lot of your new young drivers start in your 4-cylinder division, and they work their way up to the top-of-the-line modifieds. And, you figure somebody sitting there, they're coming in, they're saying, okay, what are these cars? What's the purpose of it? What's the qualifying race about? And, then hopefully they'll say, yeah, this is pretty neat. I'll come back and bring a friend. So.
Yeah. So, I took Craig, my buddy Craig, who I've known my whole life, like 55 years. And it was his first race ever. We went to Maple Grove. And he was like, on the way home, he's like, Fred, I'm hooked. He goes, where are we going next week?
Yeah.
So, so we're, hopefully you get him and his family involved and grandkids and stuff. So, but yeah, he's hooked. So, and he asked a lot of questions. I don't know if the kids would, but he asked a lot of questions like, what makes this a top fuel as opposed to alcohol burning? Or so we went around and walked around the cars, and he's like, you know what these things are just by looking at them. I said, oh, well, after 40 years, I guess, something sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was impressed, and he loves racing, and we'll be heading down there and all over the place here over the next season. Oh,
that's great. Very good.
So,
you're the man.
All right, Earl. Well, thanks for calling in, and we'll be seeing you down at Wall Stadium.
Sounds good, Fred, and you and Jim continue the great work you do with the show. It's nice to listen to, and again, let's keep up the good work.
All right.
We are.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks to your help, too, Earl.
There you go. There you go.
So,
right on top of it. And, boy, they got a lot of information in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. We're rolling here. The hour of power here for the Need for Speed. And it's brought to you at this time by Sage Chiropractic, 123 Sycamore Street in Newtown, 215-497-0700. That's right, working harder and smarter. That's the name of the game. And everybody is eligible. Provide chiropractic care for the whole family, postnatal right on up to newborns, to seniors, to elite athletes like Fred is, and everybody else. That's right. Give them a call, 215-497-0700, Sage chiropractic, putting your range in motion.
Hey, Michael straighten your back out straight as a quarter-mile track up Maple Grove.
That's right. Maybe your grandson would be what, the Graysonator or something like that, in something like that.
Grayson, yeah.
The Graysonator.
Hey,
could happen.
we'll save that for him when he gets involved there.
Yeah, well, he's right now a switch hitting second baseman
actually,
right now.
He's moving on to football right now.
Is he?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm
Man.
totally on board with that because I love baseball, but he's staying active in the sports, and that's
good.
what it's all about.
That's good. Yeah.
Keep him involved in something.
Good hitter, isn't he?
He's a good hitter, good fielder. Now he's
speed.
Yeah, he's a little guy, and he just he can run up the sideline. He caught a couple passes last week.
Very good.
From what I heard, I didn't go. I was at Maple Grove.
Yeah.
But
because he's making a living too.
Yeah. He's playing. He's going into middle school this year, so they already have a football team, a flag football team.
Nice.
That he's planning on joining.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of great. There's some for everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever gets them there. The funny cars.
Yep.
The demolition stuff.
Yeah, it was.
The unknown. Whatever.
Yeah,
we don't
I
know.
was
You might see something you never seen before.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of everything. I totally forgot that they had rails running down there, and I haven't seen them.
Bumper cars. Back in the days.
Well, they have the Walt Stadium. I think they have the rubber bumper cars or some bubble bumper cars is what they call it. But I've always been into the classic, cars, the old coupes against the '55 Chevys, Milner, Falconer running. But it was a '70 Buick Skylark GS. It had a big block in there, and I was like, "That is a pretty car." Yeah. And man, he ran good. And then there was a '67 Chevelle. You probably saw it on my Facebook. This thing was a rat. It looked like they just got it out of
the mothballs, right?
It was a 4-door Chevy Chevelle, primer gray or dark gray, and it just red wheels, all this stuff. But I didn't see what was under the hood, but it ran a 8 something, which is like crazy, and won. So and there was I wish I couldn't find it afterwards. Hopefully I find some footage that Craig took. There was an orange, probably early '90s Mustang, and I said, "Wow, this car really sounds different than all the other cars," and it hooked up, and I was just blown away. I think he ran like 7 something, and I actually looked down at the guy. I had no idea who it was. Like 3 rows down, and he looked over at me and went, "Wow." I said, "Yeah."
That says everything.
Yeah. We knew the difference between that and what was real other stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting. You never know what you're going to get when you
right.
Then you look at a couple of cars broke right on the line, and there was a guy with a Plymouth Sundance.
Well, he should be DQ'd. You're going to get.
We would have liked to see him run. We would like to see him because I think it was a turbo 4-cylinder.
Did Robert Redford get involved?
It was just a little tiny car, but he couldn't even get up to the line. So hopefully he got it back together and went later.
I didn't realize Paul Newman got involved with racing himself.
Drag racing?
Drag racing,
yeah.
A little bit on the
I've never really
fringe.
seen him drag racing. I remember him running the Indy cars or Formula cars.
Remember one year James Garner drove the pace car for Indy 500.
Right.
And for all his work in Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you hear the pros say, "Oh, this guy couldn't do it." So James Garner could have done it. He could have done it.
They all did.
Yeah.
Garner ran well.
That move with
McQueen ran well. And, definitely Paul Newman ran well.
Yeah.
So.
I know James Garner with that
wheel
around that Camaro is still. I don't know how he does that, but
look at Marty Robbins was a heck of a driver.
Yeah.
And he had a pink car, which was great.
Yeah, and a white sport coat, pink carnation. But he was involved with that too.
Yes,
there's a lot of them used to be involved with that. Yeah, but it has to be. It can't be a casual thing. I don't know if you can be casual about it.
No, I think. Some of the guys have. Real jobs. Yeah. "Quote unquote" real jobs. But you look at
the fantasy dream. What's the matter with that?
Well, actually, I think the Pouch family made a whole business out of it.
Yeah.
And some guys that were really, really into it, like Kenny Weld or Grant King, they were just to build cars. Frankie Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
everything revolved around racing. That was their business. Like a lot of us were like my dad and Lenny Martin, and Lenny had the body shop next to me and Dad's shop down in Trenton. So we were all good friends, and I actually built a carburetor for Jimmy one time. He ran well with that for I don't know how long, but yeah, there were little like shops, like body shops, auto repair shops, and the guys would run on the weekends, weekend warriors, and then towards the end there it got a little out of hand cost wise, and you couldn't keep up with it.
One of the things too, I was going to ask you, Fred, about the the spread of interest in the Northeast, fine, South, pretty good. Probably down in Texas and Oklahoma, Dallas or something started.
Yeah, there's still some out there. Midwest is pretty big for like late models.
For the out there, I don't know. They've run races, I think, in Las Vegas, I think, or at least in
I'm sure
Nevada.
They probably do. I haven't seen any dirt track, but it'll be sand track. Out there.
California, I mean,
there's some dirt tracks out in California. Pomona has one. I watch a lot of the motor vehicle sports called MAV TV, and I see it mostly like Missouri, Kansas.
Midwest.
Yeah, a lot of late models. We were talking about Barefoot Bob McCready. His son Tim is a champion, late model driver. Very fun to watch, and that's what I was I was touching on earlier. I like those guys that run hard, and you see them go from like 12th and running clean. I always see like Billy Pouch. He blows me away, Junior. Billy Pouch Jr. and his dad was the same way, but Ryan Godown, it just amazes me every time he's on the track. It's just like, wow.
You could change from offense to defense, kind of thing. There's some you could drive one way, or just and then it's over with. Or you get others that make adjustments, others that wait back and make.
Nick was talking about David Malozar, really nice guy. I met him in the pits once,
waiting for their chance, and if it comes, it's. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's what he kind of hangs back. David Malozar, he's not like over aggressive, but he's always there. Yeah, and he's ready to strike. Yeah, so I'm glad to see that he got his first win.
And you get others just out of there in the first go round. I mean, just like
that was a couple of our cars back in the day.
Right,
a couple of laps. Here's the green flag wreck.
But it is a kind of it is a mental game. It just don't start the car and go. And I mean there's a strategy, long-term, short-term, what if.
You got to...
I mean, isn't there?
Yeah, you got to... If you're starting in the back, you got to... Maybe, this is just me talking. Maybe you want to hang back there for 4 or 5 laps and see what weeds out up front. But if you're out front, just get out there and stay there. Yeah. On dirt track, it's not like you're drafting or taking somebody's air off. Yeah. So.
But on the flip side, there's hardly any interest in motocross. I just don't see it.
They have their motocross
CBS,
motorcycles.
Yes, CBS.
I'm not into it myself, but
I've seen CBS in the middle of wintertime. I got nothing going on.
Well, you get some ice motorcycle racing. That's interesting. They got those big spiked tires.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Real men
auto racing started after the first car was built by the second car.
Yeah.
It was Henry Ford said that.
Action, reaction,
Yeah, the auto racing started when the second car was built.
Yeah.
So
Lord Mr. Ford. Yeah. No, man.
There's racing for everything. Yeah. So.
I know.
I'm sure there's like Nick said. There's probably shopping cart races.
There used to be. You get to the front, and now they got the automatic checkout. You don't need it anymore. Yeah, I don't know. It's. I think it runs kind of in fits and starts. I mean, you get, the personalities make it, and all of a sudden you get a rivalry of some that you're going to find out.
That's what makes
it's going to be
exciting.
Ali Fraser on the track, and somebody's going to be hanging back. Others are going to try to run you down. I mean, it's that's what makes it personality.
You still see it. I mean, I think I've been to one race at Bridgeport, but you'll see like Ryan go down, Billy Pouch go to it, at a high level, and I think they're related. Yeah. But a lot of guys, and you migrate to your favorites. And back in the day when I was a kid, it was in our families we were split. Half was a Stan Plosky fan, and half was a Billy Osmond fan, and We knew them both, and they were great guys. But there was like, oh, I hope Billy wins this week. I hope Stan does break something or whatever, or vice versa. The Sammy Beavers and a lot of those guys. And
you think of other people that might be good at car racing. I always thought Jim McMahon would be a good.
He could be.
Because he was an outlaw kind of guy. He'd tell like it was, kind of like Steve McQueen, a little rebel.
Well, and if he drove in Chicago, he probably had some good training.
Yeah.
Because Chicago sucks.
Can't finish. You can't even get through the lake.
Yeah.
So.
Driving through Chicago was no joy.
Isn't it awful?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
It's actually easier to get through New York than it is Chicago.
And actually, I would say drivers would also experiment with strategy, don't you think so, Fred?
Yeah, a lot of guys will go out there and figure out.
This guy was a hanger, now he's a steamroller.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it. You got to see how the track is reacting to your car.
Mm-hmm.
How you're set. That's how you're going to set up. I remember being in the pits with Dad while they had to do a quick change on a rear up at 5 Mile Point because they're like, "Oh, we're geared too low for this, or we're geared too high. I can't get off the line. I can't get off the turns."
Nobody at Pet Boys working there.
So it'd have a Franklin quick change rear. You pull the cover off, boop, 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 you slide the 2 gears, and you're good to go. Actually, Johnny Scarpati did that last year when he had one. He was running.
That is
running
impossible.
too low.
That is almost impossible to pull off, isn't it?
What's
really?
that? No, you get them down to. Get it down to a science. You could probably do a quick change rear in, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be a tire stagger, which is one side tire higher than the other, a little bit bigger than the other, because you're going into a turn a little bit different than you normally would. And definitely, like Bridgeport with the high banks, you're going to go into it different than you would going to like Wall, which is asphalt for one, and they have high banks. But I'm trying to think of a flatter track. New Egypt's not that flat; it's got a pretty good bank now. But yeah, you can't run that on the
it looks good
track.
on TV. The bank turns. Then you see the shot over the top.
Yeah,
it's always kind of interesting to see how it's almost like a shell game.
Yeah.
What's going. Somebody is trying to make a move, drop back. That's when you see the overhead shots. You can see the jockeying. Or I guess you could.
Yeah, that is one of the good things of having a drone. But I'm not a big drone fan. But
no,
they get up there, they get some nice shots, and you can actually see the whole track once.
Sometimes it opens up like Moses or something, Ten Commandments there, and then all of a sudden nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is the fear of not fear of but the unknown.
Yeah.
There's nobody can predict how somebody will do something or something will break down.
Like Earl was talking about with Jimmy Blewett. He's a hard runner. He got low. People know that's what he does. All it takes is one guy to like maybe
clip him and that's it.
Yeah, not see him or whatever, and just run into him, and then it escalates from there. But you could have the most perfect setup, and you got to watch out what the other guy's doing. You gotta have to know that. Okay, say I'm Billy Pouch Jr. and I'm going in there, and this guy's a scrub. I shouldn't say that, but this guy's not a top runner.
Yeah,
he might come down on me. I got to think about maybe I want to go outside or what. There's different strategies. Yeah. I shouldn't put myself in their heads, but I know that's how I would look at it.
Has to be, because just like anything else, there's preparation, game planning. What if this? What if that? This one will do this. This one, I know it's going to be processing, and it's got to be reaction time. But there's got to be a game plan in there somewhere.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah, you can have the best setup, and somebody comes down on you or whatever. But you got. That's why you go out and you do some hot laps. You say, oh, okay, the track's a little sticky tonight. I'm going to change to these tires, or I'm going to change to this rear, or I got a little too much going into this turn, or I don't have enough, where you set whatever else up.
Or this guy has a tendency to do this, and this guy has a tendency to do that. You have to put all that factor in there. You got to scout him.
Yeah.
I mean, just like anybody else, right?
Yeah,
game plan him.
Yeah, that's and things always change. I mean, like I said, you can have the best setup, and somebody comes down on you or comes up on you or doesn't know what you're going to do.
Some ham and egger that took me out.
They're usually hanging in the back. They're called lap traffic.
He's a bum.
Anybody that's out there running, I'm not going to call him a bum. Yeah. They might not be the greatest run, but
I don't want to.
No, because if I was out there, I'd be that guy.
You'd be Spider Rico.
Yeah, I'd be that guy in the back.
Yeah,
it's kind of like watching everybody else.
You would be sort of like the like the pounce at a certain time. So You know, and there's a time to make a move, and sometimes there was an opening that never came.
Right.
You know, so you know,
that happens. That's why there's only one first place.
That's right, and that's why we have the need for speed.
Yep.
What do we got coming up here in the hours?
Okay, well, this Saturday you can see me and Craig down at New Egypt Speedway.
Autographs?
Yeah, we'll sign autographs.
Sure.
Yeah.
X marks the spot.
Yeah, X. Yeah, and we'll be taking videos, and that starts at 4 o'clock is when the grandstand's open. But we're going to try to get down there and get in the pits and do some interviews and stuff with drivers and who else is down there. Hopefully Mark Rogier's down there, and we can
9 or 9:30. We're not quite sure because we like to change strategies. Go for the short track, the long track, whatever.
All depends on what I got rolling through my head.
We got rolling, and we are rolling here, and it's been brought to you by Sage Chiropractic.
Hey.
It's a 123 Sycamore Street in Newtown. So stay with us. Thursdays, you never know when you're going to feel the need for speed.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Betcha.
Deliberations in Donald Trump's hush money trial. Moments before entering the courtroom this morning, Donald Trump called it
this ridiculous case that's hurting our country so badly.
Of course, nobody knows what the jury will decide and when. The AP's Michael Sisak is in New York, and he drills down on the possibilities.
Ultimately, it could find Trump guilty, not guilty, or if it goes on long enough, there could be a hung jury and a mistrial. Now the jury can also find Trump guilty on some charges, not guilty on others, guilty on all, not guilty on all. The jury must be unanimous in its finding. That means all 12 jurors must agree either way.
Much of the nation will continue to see some bad weather today. The AP's Donna Warder.
In Spring, Texas on Tuesday.
How do you get him out?
Ashley Renee Young and her boyfriend Robert Chance rescued a man trapped in his submerged truck in rushing floodwaters.
Be careful, be careful.
Days of dangerous storms caused flooding in parts of Texas, including Houston, where streets flooded for the second time this month. Power outages are scattered across the state and could last into the weekend. The National Weather Service says the very active and highly impactful weather pattern will continue in the central U.S. over the next several days.
Boeing will tell federal regulators today how it plans to fix the safety and quality problems that have plagued its aircraft manufacturing work. The economy grew at a pokey 1.3% annual pace from January through March, the weakest quarterly rate since the spring of 2022. Consumer spending rose, but at a slower pace than analysts thought it would. The number of Americans who applied for unemployment ticked up last week, but layoffs are still historically low. Overall, the number of Americans on unemployment is 1.79 million. This is AP News.
Progressive asks, what do an escaped leopard,
We're live from the zoo where a leopard has escaped,
a growling stomach, an uneaten tuna sandwich, and a backdoor doggy door have in common? They can lead to an unexpected kitchen renovation.
Yeah, hi. Is this the zoo? Your leopard is in my kitchen.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind,